Hi everyone, today we are here in Symrise office and we are having the perfumer Stephan Bengana.
Hi.
So yes, he will tell you the stories, how does the perfumes created and the process from down part to the up part. There are some secrets that the company cannot announce, but while that time we can have some information about how to create the perfumes, how does it happen, and from where does this inspiration come?
Mm-hmm.
Many questions.
Many questions.
Tell a few words us about yourself first.
Okay, about myself. So basically, I'm a chemist. I'm an organic chemist. I studied at the ISIPCA in Paris. I studied perfumery. Then I started my career at Harman Reimer. So a long time back. It was in 1996.
Wow. How many years are you now in perfumery?
So almost 25 years.
Okay, so we have the name of our channel is Perfumed Story. So now you should tell us your perfume story.
Yeah, so I studied at ISIPCA. I think it's a very famous school in Paris for perfume, for perfumers. And
so this is in Paris, not
this is in Paris, in Versailles, and just next to Paris.
Okay, good.
So I started with Harman Reimer, which is now Symrise. I was an internship. I worked 2 years with Harman Reimer.
Who was your best teacher when you was learning the perfume?
My best teacher was and is Philippe Barberousse. Amazing perfumer. So he was my mentor, and he could communicate his passion to me, and I'm really thankful.
So tell us the story. Is it real that it's happening like in the movie The Perfumer, when you are coming to the lab, you are checking the ingredients, you stare how the perfumer works, or how does it happen in the real life?
It's not so different. It's not so different in the real life. So how to say, how do you want me to explain?
Yeah, just tell the story, because people, they don't know how it's happening in the real life. So we saw how it happened in the movie, and we want to understand how it's happening in the real life. So the perfumer, when he works, so does he get the task from the customer, or there is a special things which are able to be created as a fragrance, like the olfactive notes or something? So from where does the inspiration come? From one side, we understand that this is a business, and you have the, inquiry from the brands, and that inquiry following the fashion style, the tendencies, the things which are happening in the fashion world. From the other side, there is the perfumery as an art, and you can create like the ingredients, the new notes, the new molecules. And this, for me, I think it's two different ways. Yeah. When you choose the one which is coming for art, then you can propose this one for those customers and those brands who are coming to create the new fragrances. From the other one, there is a fashionable stuff, so whether you have to go on for art, which is not always have the success in the last, in the market, or you have to follow the fashion way, which is exactly, what will be saleable and what will have the success.
Yeah, so it's basically it's a little of both. We are not, as perfumers, I'm talking about all the perfumers, we are not artists in the way that we don't create fragrances for us. A real artist creates only for himself. So we create fragrance for people, for the others. So according to request, of course, it's creative, because we adjust our creativity to a request. So it's not exactly art, it's in between. We are like I would say engineer artist. It's like a fusion kind of job. So most of the time we receive requests from customers. So our job is basically to turn an idea, a concept, an emotion into a scent. So that's the sum. To sum up our job, this is that. So we have customers. They approach us, and they ask us about a story, and they say, okay, I want to create a perfume that can be related to this story or to this concept.
So still there is a story behind the creation, or there is a direction, because Same thing. You can have a story. Like I want to see how the sky smells when the sun falls down, or the waves are there and the sea. From one side. From the other one, I want to have something that I like Creed Aventus, but twisted and made in that direction.
Yeah. So again, we receive both kind of requests. Some customers they really want fragrance that match a concept, a personal concept, and some customers are, I would say, more business oriented, and they will ask more like a different way of working on a famous and popular fragrance, like you were mentioning, Creed Aventus or 1 Million or J'adore, whatever. So just like they want some twist around this. So then in that case, my work is a little more technical and less artistic. When it's a matter of turning a concept or an idea or an emotion into a scent, this become more artistic.
So do you like this one more?
Yes, but it's more difficult.
Yes, because you never know what the customer will choose.
It's more difficult, especially when we don't have any guidelines. So
how much time does it take to make a new concept of the fragrance?
It's difficult to say, because it depends if you manage to catch up the idea quickly. So it can be.
But when you're catching the ideas, you have the ready samples and you are willing to propose something, right? The creations, I mean, or it should be done from the beginning.
No, it's how we work usually, because we cannot create from scratch everything. So what happens? We receive a request for a customer for a concept, so like I would say like artistic concept. Then I will discuss with the FDM, the evaluator. Then we are going to discuss together with marketing also, and then we say, okay, well, how do you understand the concept? How do you understand what is in the customer's mind? Then we start thinking about direction. Okay, maybe we can go into, I don't know, oriental.
So you choose the olfactive direction,
yes,
right?
Yes,
the floral, the marine, the green, and so on.
So it can be most of the time it's easy if the customer provides a kind of mood board. So then we have the visual, the concept in a visual way. So we have the color code, or sometimes the bottle shape.
I had the same trouble, because we are launching the 6th fragrance, and the color, ideally we wanted to see it in the pink one. But the natural ingredients, vanilla natural, she's killing the color. So like when we received 3 types of pink color, it was a bit pink.
Yeah.
After 1.5 months, it became like different, like
pink.
Gold, transparent, and the one was like a little still pink. So
so the easiest way is to have a good mood board from the customer. So it can be the question of concept, colors, but also raw materials. Some customer they can say, okay, I want something based on vetiver or based on whatever patchouli.
But this is a standard one. Do you often use the new raw materials to propose like the new bases, new molecules, and on the base of what you create the new fragrances, the new raw things?
Yeah, so we at Symrise, we are very lucky perfumers, because we have access to many secret raw materials. So we have captives. So captive means this is material that only Symrise perfumer can use.
Okay.
So it can be aroma chemical. So we have some captive aroma chemical like Ambrostar.
Ambrostar, the new one from Symrise.
It's not like really new, but
it was new when I was launching my fragrances. It's like 2 years or so.
But it's very efficient. It's very good, and it's perfect for Dubai.
It's very intelligent on the same time, because they keep this very tender, raw smell of the ground, and it's like after the rain, and it's so fresh and it's very nice.
Yeah, it's a woody ambery, dry woody ambery.
But we skipped the main thing, like about the story about your teacher and mentor. How does it work in the lab? How does it happen when you learn from master?
So from the basic thing is to start learning the raw material. So that's a big job because we use between 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 raw materials.
So how has happened? You smell the natural thing, then you are checking the raw, or how does it happen?
No, because we use natural raw material and chemicals and aroma chemicals. I would say 80% aroma chemicals, 20% of natural raw material in our palette. So it starts, you need to learn them. It's like you start drawing, you need to learn the colors, you need to learn
how to mix colors.
Yeah, so it's exactly the same way. So at the beginning, it's very, I would say, long process because you need to start from scratch and to learn a lot of things. And even if you like flowers and you know very well the smell of flowers, and when you smell a raw material in a bottle, it's different. So you need to first to start learning all this raw material. Then the second step is to learn how to combine them, because
there are some ones which are not possible to be combined, I know, yeah?
Yes, it's like cooking. So you have all the ingredients, but some you know that it will not work.
Yeah.
It will not work. And if you want to achieve that kind of smell, you need to use this raw material, this, and also the quantity is important. You cannot so you need to find the right balance. First, the right raw material.
So you keep in this search for the right balance, or it's existing one?
No. Every time you have to keep the
for the new raw materials.
Yeah. And
so
even for the one that we use to use in fragrance, according to what you want to do, you have to modify the balance. If you want it more floral, more animalic, more, so you have to modify the balance. And more you add raw material to the mix, and more it changes the structure, and then you have to rebalance. So there's nothing already.
So you discover the new stuff afterwards, yeah?
It's like, for example, when you want to make a rose reconstitution, smell of rose, you have, of course,
hundreds of them.
You have, you have like common raw material for rose, like citronellol, geraniol, phenylethyl alcohol. This is known by all perfumers. But according to the balance, so the quantity of each raw material you're going to...
Because this is like in the animals world, you know, I think that the weak material will be definitely eaten by the strong one. Some of them, like even same vanilla, if we'll take vanilla, then it's eating a lot of natural ingredients in the fragrance. Because on the moment we were working with my friend Shadi Samra, we had an interview before, and like he was twisting the natural and raw materials, and on the moment he adding a small dot of vanilla, it's killing everything what was
so the balance is very important. So you need to find the right balance, because you need to find the balance between all the raw material, and none of them should be hiding the other one. Or sometimes you can do it purposely, like patchouli. But patchouli, for example, we used to hide the dirty, earthy part of patchouli, so we can hide this other raw material.
Strong,
But what we need is the warm, sheep character of patchouli. This is what we want to show in the fragrance, and to hide some.
Yeah, and at the same time, how does it possible to keep the base? Because as I understood, the base is the main thing in the fragrance. And like I was trying one concept now with Tarek, and we were discussing that these are the bases. But sometimes the bases are as an existing fragrance, so you can use it as the ready one. And for me, it's always a hard story when you added something to the base and the fragrance changing. How does you do to keep the base smelling like that, adding the top notes and the hard notes?
So this is more like I would say technical aspect of my job, to try to balance also the light raw material and the heavy raw material, to keep a structure like top note, middle note, base note.
Yeah, because
the fragrance cannot be only made with heavy material.
Yeah, we use that we smell one fragrance on the beginning and it's discovering as the other one in the end.
Yeah.
But when you are making this kind of tests, are you trying it on your skin or you're trying on the blotters? Because you are working with the hundreds of materials. So
yeah.
And in the end, we do know that the fragrance is a real one when you use it on your skin. Because even in different types of skin, they say that the fragrance will have the other sound.
Mm-hmm. So at the initial stage, we work with blotters, with sphenic strips, and when we think that we are about to
finish,
close, then we start testing on skin, and on fabrics also.
That's cool. Yeah. So, is there any vision from your side which kind of fragrances will be popular in the future, like this, the tendencies from you?
It's difficult. I'm not trendsetters.
Okay, so you are just getting this is what's coming from the fashion thing, yeah?
But I have some, I would say I've been thinking about one fragrance that is now very popular in the market, and it was, I would say, at this time a little bit like new. This is the Amberwood by Ajmal. So it was launched, I think, something like maybe more than 5 years ago.
It's really popular. I'm distributing these fragrances in Ukraine, and yes, this is, I think, from those collections, this one is the most popular.
Yeah, that's the most popular. This is the best-selling fragrance. And at the beginning, it was quite, I would say, different. And I never expected...
I discovered it 5 years ago, and I loved it from that day. Yeah, definitely. The fragrance is very nice. But still, there are some directions like olfactive way of the fragrance. So, which kind of olfactive groups do you think will still have a success in the market?
In Dubai, it mostly woody, ambery,
and oudi as well.
And
right?
oudi. So oudi, it has changed. I think
because
this over the last.
It's overdosed now.
Yeah, over the last 10 years, I think the oud trend has changed a little bit, but mostly here the concept is always. I don't want to talk about like olfactive direction, but what is very important here is they need very strong fragrance,
quality,
good long lasting, good spreading, good sillage. That's very important. So whatever the direction is. But to make this fragrance so rich, so heavy, so diffusive, you need good quality fragrance, and I would say a few olfactive family can work with that. So every time you should have a lot of wood, sandalwood, rose.
So still the task from GCC market and the tasks which are coming from Europe are a bit different, right? Because the tastes are not the same.
The tastes are not the same, but now they tend to make a mix of both. So that's why there's a lot of I think most of the niche fragrance now, they tend to have something like little bit Arabic and a little bit French. So it's in between. Some are more on the Arabic side, some more on the French, but this is a trend because the niche concept it's to use rare and expensive raw material, high raw material cost.
And that's good, yes, that you have an access for the best raw materials and for the new molecules, for the new formulas. That's amazing.
Yeah. We have plenty of possibility at Symrise for raw material. It's very...
How many fragrances on the same time you are willing to work on?
At the same time, I would say maybe 10, 15.
How much time does it take for one project to create the one?
It depends. It can be 1 week, it can be 6 months. So it really depends.
Which one is the hardest one to create? Like, I mean, that smells which are still not.
I think the hardest are the most creative one, because what is difficult is we have some customer with really a concept, but they cannot translate it into a scent. So what is important is, and it takes time to understand what is in the customer's mind, in their heart, and that takes time because we start with different options, and they cannot express actually the lack of communication because.
This is if to come to the story and the concept, but if to take the fragrance itself, the smell, Like which one is the hardest to be reproduced, showed to the customer to smell, you know? There are some notes, like let's say I want to smell which one? Banana, okay?
Mm-hmm. So
I mean the hardest note to reproduce.
Yeah. I think, for example, mimosa. Mimosa is very difficult. Mimosa is very, very difficult flower.
What do you use to create the smell of mimosa? Definitely there will be flowers, just
yeah. So it's a little bit like anise. So we use like anisicaldehyde, anisic alcohol, and this kind of thing. But what is difficult is to reproduce the powdery character of this.
There is a background, and this background is a bit animalic in mimosa smell.
Yes.
And the flower itself, you know, when I was a kid, I was in love with it. I like how it looks like, and there was something I loved a lot in the smell, but on the same time, there was something I was not accepted at all. Like, there was the smell of flower, on the same time, there was a smell like when you are scratched the bug, you know, like there is an animalic touch, which is like, I think, the hardest thing, you know.
And also the green note of the mimosa is difficult to reproduce. So there is some note, which are difficult.
Which was the most weird odor you received for creating of the fragrance? Like, which kind of fragrance was the most weird?
I think this is the real musk, natural musk.
Okay, because it's not good at all. Like
it's
the natural
very
one.
animalic. It smells like a bit like urine, and this is really, really.
We were discussing the fragrances, the brands which were creating the smell of the shoes, the smell of the animals, the smell like. Now brands are creating different stories.
Yeah, but people, they try to find new concepts. The smell of blood, smell of blue cheese.
Yes, and smell of body and so on. We know that kind of brands. We were discussing them in our interview as well. Yeah, that's really amazing, this kind of things, when you are willing, because the olfactive thing is not, it's probably one of those which are not willing to be digitalized, you know, you are not willing to send the smell, you are not willing to translate and to explain even. So I think this is a kind of fairy tale which is existing in perfumers' life, and this life is fantastic. And we are listening to these fragrances every time we are using the new perfumes, every time we are trying, every time, like, this kind of people are creating our emotional conditions, because we do know that according to our emotions, the fragrance giving the attitude and the character of your days, your working days, like your happy days and so on. So thank you so much for being here with us. And there is a small part of our interviews when we are giving the present to our subscribers, the small one, anything from the guests. So later we will show you what will it be. We are here in Symrise lab, and afterwards we will show you the lab, the exact lab, and how it works, and how the perfumer do the things in his office. Bye.
We don't do like R&D, raw material R&D. Everything is in Germany.
Yeah, now I just will ask you, because this is the main and interesting thing, that there is a special machine which is discovering the fragrances which are not existing yet in the chemical, as a chemical structure. So I had the sample before. I was listening in the story about the coffee bean. So tell us, how does it happen? The machine name is?
Headspace.
Headspace, okay. And if you need to get the fragrance which is not existing, you should put this thing. Is there anything you can put to the machine to create the fragrance, the chemical structure of the fragrance, or there should be something exact?
So there is different way to extract the scent of a natural raw material. There is a steam distillation, there is extraction, there is CO2 extraction, etc., etc. But sometimes you cannot.
Okay.
Because when you, for example, you do the extraction of or distillation of a flower, this one is not live.
Okay.
So we found a way to reconstitute the smell of a live flower. So this is called Headspace.
Okay.
And Symrise and I think Ham and Reimer was pioneer in that Headspace concept.
So what does it happen? You put...
So you have the live flower on the ground.
Okay.
You put a kind of like glass balloon shape on the flower.
We'll show you the machine later.
So, and then you have like very sensitive captors on top of it that record the scent that the flower is releasing.
Okay.
So, and then we record all these molecules that are released by the flower, and we
And it's really the same fragrance, or you still have to work on it?
We have to work to rebalance a little bit because it's really super sensitive. So we really need to readjust, but mostly it works well.
Cool. Thank you so much. And this one was amazing information. The smell is amazing. Hi.
Okay, so here this is mostly the sampling and application lab. So this is not where it happens, but
what does it happen here?
Here, so once the fragrance is created, so we ask Annie to make the EDT or to make some other application.
So the
but
percentage, the volume, and the.
Yeah, no. So now she's just preparing a range of EDTs.
Samples.
Yeah. So this is probably what we are going whether to evaluate or to send to the customers.
Okay. And I know that you have a lot of samples in that.
Yeah, this is where we keep all our creations. So that's why if you notice here, temperature is cool because it's important to keep all the fragrance at low temperature.
Can we show one of them?
Sorry?
Can we open one of them?
So it's not finished product, it's just fragrance.
I'm trying to fix it.
Yeah. So this is just a sample that we keep.
For the raw material, right?
No,
or
it's not the raw material. This is a fragrance.
Okay.
So the raw material is the compounding lab. So we're going to go there.
Good.
Right
Thank
now.
you so much. Yeah. This is another door, and what is happening
Yes.
here?
So this is our compounding lab. So here in Dubai, it's quite small and it's all manual because we have other division, especially in Paris, or we have like a automatic compounding machine. So here everything is manual. So we have all the raw material here on the left. So as I told you, we use between I would say about 1,500 raw materials.
Oh my God! And all 1,500 is here.
So yeah, so here, like the compounder, you have the one that they use often.
What is there in the fridges?
Then, so in the fridge we have all the, I would say, the fragile raw material like citrus. All this raw material needs to be kept at a low temperature and in the dark. So here we have like, I would say, commodities, so all the raw materials that we use quite often.
So the girls, they're gathering the ingredients according to the formula, right?
Exactly, so we have a formula which is more or less like a
it looks like this.
Yes, so you have the raw material, the code and the quantity, so that's something.
So is it done by hand, or there is a special machine which is managing this thing?
No, this is by hand. So we create the formula.
And afterwards? And
afterwards we enter in our system, of course, to make it like this. But even some perfumers, they still write the formula hand.
It's so amazing. The creation.
So she just follows.
Yeah, follow the quantity, and the ingredient.
Yes.
And then it's coming to the main factory for...
So once this is done, we have to mix it because sometimes there is powders, so we need to mix.
Okay.
Once it's completely dissolved and it's mixed, then you can start making the application. So it might be EDT or shower gel, whatever, but mostly we make EDTs.
This is my favorite books when Symrise is launching these editions.
Yes, the genealogy is really
all
amazing.
Information is here for each year.
And here we have a secret room where we have all the other raw materials.
Wow.
So you can
Secret
see,
room.
this is where we keep everything.
So you mean all the stocks?
All
For the raw materials.
raw material, yeah.
That's cool. Thank you so much for showing us that secret thing. And the special thing I wanted to tell to our subscribers is this thing. This one is for what?
This one is a eye wash because according to Dubai regulation, we need to have eye wash because they use chemical or even some essential oil that can be a little bit corrosive or a little bit.
So how does it work?
So
you should put your eyes here?
I think so. I've never used it, and I'm sure you've never used it as well. But if by chance you put a little bit of oil in your eye, you come to this place,
and you should.
And you.
Yeah.
Wow. See? This kind of machine you definitely never ever saw before. Thank you so much. And the water is there? This is just the normal one? Or
Yeah,
it's
normal one.
Okay. Better. Thank you so much.